Crystal, we have talked, I would say, endlessly about third-party risk on the CISO series, and every situation is different in terms of when you're trying to determine risk from a third party. Nothing stays the same, does it, Crystal?
Nothing at all. It's a constant evolving cycle.
What are sort of like classic scenarios you're seeing when sort of determining third-party risk?
Just the challenge of like, what do I do? Especially if there's a vendor that just doesn't have any security related information that you can find, they're not unwilling to provide you that data. Like, how do I go about validating that the security posture of that vendor is seamless and I should use them?
When you get into a situation like that, what's your recourse?
A lot of companies, a lot of vendors, especially if they're not open source, that typically have like a web page, right? Mm-hmm. And I always encourage customers to go look at their website first and then just take a look. What are they doing for security? That's got to be the main starting point, because when we talk about vendor risk, it's all about what you're going to inherit from that vendor from a security perspective.
This is why we have these sort of 200 questionnaires that go out. Often what you get is 10 real answers and 190 who the heck knows. Isn't there a lot of that going on?
There's so much data. I've seen questionnaires as long as 500 questions.
Oy.
At the end of the day, it's really about like, what is that vendor going to be processing, storing, transmitting on your behalf? Do they have access to not only your data, but your customers' data? And how do they go about securing that? If you distill it down to kind of those three simple things, it really makes that process a lot easier.
You can't just rely on the questionnaire, can you?
Anybody can give you any answer on a questionnaire. I like to encourage folks like, hey, use that internet. The internet is really your friend here. It does start to give you that insight of how that company considers, how they handle security, like, or is it important to them? And at the end of the day, I think that's really what you want to hit on with these vendors.
Well, we're going to be talking about all of this Friday. It's going to be a very practical discussion about third-party risk on Super Cyber Friday. The topic is hacking third-party risk process. Here's all the information you need to know.